Terrific Tuesday, my Move the Chains audience. We are back. New edition of this podcast. How are we doing? I'm not doing as well as Notre Dame this morning because they lost last night. But what a fight. What a season for Notre Dame. I'll get into that in a second. Ohio State, congratulations. You got their natty. Been 10 years, long time, but you won. And you shut me up because after that Michigan game, I went, oh, shit. And they needed a punch in the forehead. They fucked around. They found out against Michigan. And they did. And last night, they answered the critics, including myself. So I wanted to touch on that. Hope we're doing well today. Ben Johnson, Bears. I just got a lot to say on that. But I want to start off, first of all, with Notre Dame. Even though they lost last night, I took some notes today. 14 wins this season by Notre Dame. Program record. Marcus Freeman is a rock star. You know, there's that song by R. Kelly, Ludacris, "You're a rock star, baby." That's what it feels like with Marcus Freeman. Got this team going in the right direction. 7 wins versus AP-ranked opponents. Fantastic. Most in the FBS this year. They've been Indiana, Georgia, and Penn State on their way to the college football playoff. And here's the crazy part. They did it with one 5-star guy, one 5-star athlete. One. And if you talk to 30 coaches, I heard this the other day, you talk to 30 coaches on both in any college football, you take Georgia, Penn State, Notre Dame's roster. You're putting Georgia, Penn State together because it's insane. They got dudes everywhere. Notre Dame's got dudes everywhere. But the way that Marcus Freeman, he's got, and I said this last week, I know Cowher mentioned this, but I wanted to bring it up again. He has got a Sean McVay quality that I feel and I can relate to. He's got energy. He's got presence. He walks in the room. He's got his chest out. He's an alpha guy. He fits Notre Dame. And this is not a shot at Brian Kelly. He did a really good job with that program. Because Notre Dame, if people may not mistaken, they were shitty before he got there. And he did do some good things. He got 10 wins. He did good things. They were very good. But Marcus Freeman's got them to elite level. Now, last night, the talent disparity, like I just mentioned, a bunch of 5-stars for Ohio State, 1 for Notre Dame. You saw it last night in the disparity. But the way that this team fights, and I saw it with Sean McVay's team Sunday in Philadelphia in that snowstorm. 28-15 they were down. It was 31-7. My dad goes, yeah, they're done. And I kept looking at my phone last night. I'm trying to get some sleep, and I look up, and Notre Dame's keeping it a game. My dad's like, fucking Notre Dame, baby. And I'm like, all right. Making it a game, and then it just kind of fell off. So I just got to tip my hat off to Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame. They're going to be fine. This is a program, right direction, rocket ship leaning toward that way, and he makes them likable. I like Brian Kelly, but there's something about him, that Northeast kind of ethos. He's pissed off. He's got the Chucky look. He's kind of goes plumb on the sideline like Tom Coughlin. That kind of pissed people off, and Marcus Freeman doesn't have that. He's got a likability, a factor to him, a presence, a Kirby Smart, a Nick Saban, those kind, and he loves recruiting, and he's great at it. I mean, Notre Dame's always gotten great players, my whole life. So now he's raising it to another level, and that extra bar to be great. And listen, whether he goes to the NFL or not, I don't know. We shall see. But for right now, Marcus Freeman's balling at Notre Dame. And do not be mad if they try and make it back next year to the national championship game or close to it in the playoff. So, Ohio State, listen, I was wrong. After they lost to Michigan, I went, uh-oh. This ain't good. This ain't pretty. Uh-oh. Here we go again. Ryan Day's overrated. Wakes up on third base. Joe Harbaugh was right. And then Ohio State. Cat caught my tongue. Excuse me. Excuse me, got right again. And what are you watching now? I'm watching a team now, Ohio State, that got better throughout the year. Very Patriots-like, in the NFL. It feels like that college now, with NIL and all this bullshit going on. But I will say this, Ohio State's receivers, Brian Hartline is an outstanding coach. I've heard him on the Move the Sticks podcast I listen to, with 2X Scouts, Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah. Shout out to them. They do a phenomenal job. And I always get little nuggets from them. I always learn. And Brian Hartline has had great receivers. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, before he had to transfer out and go to Alabama, but was an All-American. Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's like a factory there, man. In Ohio State, and that state, Ohio, they got factory full of players. And it is just insanity. They maximize the most out of their talent. I know this year they had a $20 million, I believe, NIL with your collective. So I think that's the way you have to win now in college football. Very much to me like baseball back in the day. Who's got the most money? Okay, we'll pay. Let's go. So I do think Ohio State's going to be fine. If Caleb Downs or Jeremiah Smith came out right now, they'd be 1-2 slam dunk. I mean, Jeremiah Smith, to me, he's on a short list to me of best receivers in college that I've ever seen. Julio, Mike Evans, this kid, as a freshman, he's balling. And here's the other thing. Joe Klatt was told this in spring by Mike Ibuka, who's going to go in the NFL. In his comp is coincidentally Jackson Smith and Jigba. So try and make that out. But he said, at a spring practice last year, I was listening to this on Coward today, is that he's the best receiver that Ohio State's ever had. That's like rare. Because I look back and I'm trying to go up my head. Chris Carter, Ted Ginn, Brian Hartline, who coaches now. You have all these guys, this pipeline of talent. And there's certain guys, man, I watch in college at receiver and I go, it's going to translate. Yep, it's going to work. Jamar Chase, that's going to work. Justin Jefferson, that's going to work. Mike Evans, going to work. Julio Jones, 6'3", 220, that's going to work. This kid is going to work in the NFL. Now, I don't know. I don't want to hype the kid up because he's a freshman. I get it. But, man, he put on a show last night. And Will Howard, say what you want. I don't know where he gets drafted. But he's nice, man. And he is a nice quarterback who had to overcome a lot of shit. Pennsylvania kid, didn't go to PA or Penn State. Had to go to Kansas State. Then went to Ohio State. Something about the states he loves going to. And he played phenomenal in this playoffs. And the way that Ohio State's just been dismantling people, it's rare to me. I did worry last night that Notre Dame was going to make it like a rock'em sock'em punching fight game. But the way that they got rolling last night, and listen, early on I went, Notre Dame's got this. And then it just was a chokehold, stone cold stunner, like I have my t-shirt, just last night. And I think Ohio State's going to be fine next year. They got guys galore. And I think the future's bright for Notre Dame, and I think the future's bright for Ohio State, who can win again, I believe, next year with this talent. Although the Big Ten's going to be a lot better. Washington's going to recruit really well. They got really good state recruiting up there. Jeff Fish can recruit. Penn State's bringing everybody back. Drew Aller, all those guys. Ohio State, can't forget. Even though Michigan State's a bottom feeder, they got two boosters, one with the Suns of Phoenix in the NBA and one with the Cavs. So they got money to spend. And then Wisconsin, we'll see what they can do. So you go down the list here. Ohio State's kicking. And then Michigan, I forgot to mention them. They got that quarterback who's a stud. They got him coming in. So watch out, because Big Ten's going to be nasty. And I will say this. For a long time, and SEC fans, don't get mad at me. For 15 years, you had it easy. You were running college football. And I agree. It's still the best conference with the best players. But best conference, I'm not sure about that. Now, they can still get the best players, no doubt about it. But what I'm watching this season is that your run of terror might be over. Now, I'm not trying to shit on Georgia and what they've done, or LSU and what they've done. No disputing that. But there's other SEC teams now that might be coming. Florida's coming with Billy Napier coming back and DJ Lagway. South Carolina with that Sellers kid who's a beast. Garrett Nussmeier comes back. My guy out of LSU, who I love. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Big Ten. I think Big Ten moving forward is a little bit better than the SEC. And maybe it's by a big gap. I'm not sure. But man, Notre Dame impressed me last night too, because they could play with Ohio State on that field. They're fast. They got speed everywhere. But just a congratulations to Ohio State getting the national championship after being out of it for a while, getting close. Close but no cigar. And Notre Dame, I mentioned off the top, phenomenal job, Marcus Freeman. Tip of the cap. You're doing it. You're getting Notre Dame to be likable. I love it. My whole family loves it. So, that's all. Okay. So, after the game last night, my reaction, I got to talk about this Ben Johnson thing. Okay, sit back because I got to go in this deep, okay? As a Raider fan, it pains me today that we couldn't get Ben Johnson. It pains me. I was listening to a guy this morning, and he was saying that Raiders trying to get Ben Johnson's like trying to get a hot girl that was just way out of your league and kept trying and trying and trying and trying, and it just never worked. That's what that situation was. I saw a Raider fan this morning. Him and I just were baffled like the Bears. I mean, the fucking Bears. And listen, all my cousins, Matt Schiffler, Phil Sexton, love all you guys. I'm happy for you got Ben Johnson. It weakens Detroit. But this Bears thing, listen, Caleb, yes. When I said that he dodged a bullet, the Raiders did, by not signing Ben Johnson, okay, that I get. But I also look at it from a standpoint of when Ben Johnson was looking, he goes, okay, I got a rookie quarterback contract. Let's rock this. Let's get this shit rolling. That I get. But Ben Johnson, I don't. This is what I feared a couple weeks ago. Was he's not a leader. He doesn't have the gravitas. Can he? He can prove me wrong. I don't know. But you're really pulling Chicago. Let's not hope it's not a Mark Trestman. And let's hope it's not a, Adam Gase, Brandon Staley situation where he's great as a coordinator but shitty as a head coach. And the Bears tried this Mark Trestman. Don't go down that road. I know Jason Lewis. I'm going to give a shout out to him before TikTok got shut down. Damn China. I don't want to get into that. But my point is, he was like, don't bring that up. But I had to. But this Bears thing's interesting. Because they just are so inept. I mean, they make the Raiders look like superstars. Okay? I mean, we both are dysfunctional. I will give you that. But I worry with Ben Johnson. Okay. Yeah, you got the Bears job. Okay. You got Caleb Williams. You got your toys. Okay. But here's a couple things he's not bringing with him. Number one, that culture that Dan Campbell set in Detroit. You ain't bringing that to Chicago. Maybe he's getting some good hires. Maybe Dennis Allen. Who knows? We shall see. The second thing, he's not going to bring that running back room with him to Chicago. And that offensive line that was the best in football this year outside of Philadelphia, he ain't bringing with him. So be careful what you wish for, Ben Johnson. I hope it goes well. And again, I'm a Packer fan, and I could hate the Bears all day. But Chicago needs a winner. And I still can't wrap my brain around. You have Matt Nagy in your own city, 34-31, 2 playoff appearances with Mitch Trubisky, which in that time frame, mind you, Aaron Rodgers in his prime, Matt Stafford in his prime, and Kirk Cousins playing damn good football. And you ran him out of town? What? It doesn't make sense to me. But, like I said, it's a lot of potholes with Ben Johnson. This is not... I thought Vrabel should have been the choice here. And listen, I get Caleb Williams was an offensive guy. That I understand. Because Jaden Daniels had an offensive coach. He got a great coordinator in Washington with Cliff Kingsbury. And a solid head coach that was proven. This guy's not proven. And listen, he's done a great job with the Lions. But I can also look at it and go, yeah, it's kind of easy when I got 9 Ferraris in my garage that I can just load out anytime. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's got Penei Sewell. He's got all this offensive line, the running game, all that shit. So, I'm curious to see what happens and who his staff is. But this is a heavy lift in Chicago. This is not fix Caleb. You got to. Yeah, you need to fix Caleb. I mean, I'm looking at these stats. Never had a quarterback throw 30 touchdowns. Never had 4,000 yards. What? Am I missing something? So, again, I hated this hire. For the Bears, listen, I get everybody swooping and hollering. Okay. He dodged a bullet with the Raiders because Raiders got no quarterback and they got issues. Okay. It's a weak quarterback draft and they're picking 6 and they got to move up. I get it. But this job is a bigger lift than just fixing Caleb. It is fixing this franchise a whole. And you need a culture guy. You need a Mike Vrabel, presence, alpha, D'Amico like he did, or Dan Quinn. So, again, I just got to wait and see. But when I first heard this news, I went, we dodged the bullet, Raiders. But the Bears, cross your fingers and turn in Adam Gase or Brandon Staley. And they also, here's the other thing, Bears. You're in a tough division. You know, I'm looking at these places. Did he really want to go to Jacksonville? Balky's going to get at him all the time. Jets? No. He didn't interview with the Jets, which is crazy because the Jets interviewed everybody. It was like the Oprah Winfrey Show with Tom Cruise. It's like, you get an interview, you get an interview, you get an interview. You know, it just was crazy. So, we shall see what happens with the Bears. Okay? You should be happy you got a coach. Okay. But let's slow down. I got to see this play out. So, that's all I want to talk about tonight. Hit the like, subscribe, share button. I got more content coming out this week. Championship games coming out this weekend. I cannot wait for that. Stay tuned throughout the week. I got a lot of content coming out. Stay tuned. I appreciate you guys' feedback, views. I appreciate you guys. I love you. Adios. Terrific Tuesday. Have a great night.